Okay, 4.9 sectors and segments of a circle. Find the area of the sectors formed by ACB, angle ACB, that's a shaded region. Approximate your answer to the two decimal places. So with question number 1, we're given ACB is this angle here, which is the same as its arc measure, which is 60 degrees. So when we're trying to find either arc length or area of a sector, we start by considering the proportion of that section of the circle to the entire circle. So we should have 60 divided by 360. In this case, since we're finding area, we use pi times r squared. In this case, r is 8. So we end up with, we know 60 over 360 reduces down to 1/6. 8 to the power of 2 is 64. In which case we end up with 64 pi sixths units squared, but we can reduce this to, 32 thirds? 32 pi thirds. And this value is approximately 33.51. 33.51 inches squared. Cool. Now let's do number 3. So we have some room. Same thing going on here. This is 110 degrees. So we're going to use the proportion of that section of the circle, specifically this sector, to the entire circle. And we'll multiply that by the area. (110) over 360. I'm just going to reduce this real quick. And then 12.8 to the power of 2. What does that give us? 163. 163.84 over pi. Sorry, times pi. Now it looks like we'll just have to calculate this in its entirety. Not working out. I'll just evaluate it here. This should work. I don't have a calculator, so. Okay, so we are getting 157.28. In this case, it's millimeters squared. Does that seem reasonable? Well, let me real quick look at pi r squared to see the full area. Pi times 12.8 squared is 514 about. So we're saying this area here, if this is 157 millimeters squared, is it reasonable to think that the entire thing is 5 times that size? A little bit less than 5 times. Yeah, I'd say about. That's a reasonable estimate. Looks like a good answer. Let's try one of these now. Find the indicated measure of circle M given the area of the shaded sector. So now we're given the area, but we need to find a certain measurement. Let's see. It says find the area of circle M. So we're trying to find the entire circle. Well, we know that area is equal to pi times r squared. In this case, though, we know that this area of the sector, this is how we can denote that, just so you understand, is 58 over 360. So this is the proportion of that area, that sector, to the entire circle, times pi r. We're not given r, but we know that the area of the sector is equal to 36.07. So essentially what we're working with is this equation here. All we really actually have to do, and I can highlight this, this is equal to this, I only have to do one algebraic manipulation here. One operation, and that would be to multiply by the reciprocal, like so. Right, because 58 divided by 58 is 1, 360 divided by 360 is 1, so all we're left with is pi r squared, which is the area, which is equal to 36.07 times 360 over 58. 7. And let's fix that. That's an 8. Oh, looks good. So we are getting 223.88. 2 decimal places. Yeah, that looks good. That's reasonable to say. If you're saying that the area here is 36.07, it's reasonable to assume that. It's reasonable that the entire circle would be 223.88. So yeah, that would make sense.